Hi guys, all boys and girls, and welcome back to Robbie's English Harmony video blog. And today I'm going to respond to an email that was sent into me 19 hours ago at this stage. And I think that this particular email merits my video response because it kind of highlights a general issue that happens in the larger foreign English speakers community, right? So I'm not going to be reading the whole email word by word, but I'm just gonna kind of summarize the email in a few sentences. So basically, this particular blog follower of mine says that he was one of the best in the class in terms of English literature, you know, when he was in the high school. And then he says, which evidently means that I should be able to write and speak the language. But in his case, he could write, you know. It's the typical English fluency issue whereby you can write, you can understand, you can read, but you cannot speak. And then he attributes certain percentages. So basically he says that he would be able to write at 80% in terms of efficiency or whatever, and speaking would be only 20%, right? Lagging behind big time, right? And the particular thing that I want to focus on in this video is which evidently means. So it kind of even goes without saying that once you are good at writing and reading, you know, in the literature lessons or whatever, it means that you should be able to speak, full stop, you know. There's no further discussion, there's no debates, no further investigation required, so to speak, right? So why is it that we just automatically assume, okay, it's because the traditional English teaching methodology has created this myth, you know, because English is perceived as one big subject, you know. So this myth has been perpetuated over decades and even centuries, and so we blindly just believe without even questioning, you know. We just believe that once we are good at reading and writing and understanding, that we should be automatically good speakers. And if that's not the case, then there's something wrong with us. And this particular person finds a problem with himself further down the email, right? He says that he thinks that his biggest issue is the fear of making mistakes, right? And that's why he can't speak. Well, obviously, that's also a symptom of the typical English fluency issue, right? But that's not the reason, it's just the symptom. You see, the reason is in a typical English class, you know, in the typical literature class or whatever, you do a lot of reading, writing, listening, all that kind of stuff, but you don't practice your speech. You don't speak a lot. And that's the whole point, you know. There are so many aspects of the English language, and they should have been divided into different classes, right? So when you go and learn English literature, you read and write or whatever, you know, and then there should be a specifically dedicated class to practicing spoken English, you know. And then if that were the case, right, then you would clearly see that, okay, I'm lagging behind in my spoken department, but it's all because I haven't been doing enough practice in the spoken English class or whatever, you know. Then you would clearly see the division between the different aspects of the English language. But if it's all bundled up in one big English lesson, we cannot distinguish the different aspects of the English language, you know. And as a matter of fact, I've been going on about this thing again and again and again, but I had to revisit it because people have been contacting me on a regular basis. And this particular email, I think, was a very good representation, because the person said that it evidently means that I should be able to write and speak. And it's kind of ironic because there is no evidence, you know, but we are just led to believe that, yes, it should be happening. But it's not the case. Just because you can read and write, there is no correlation between your reading and writing skills and your spoken English ability. Maybe some remote correlation. Obviously, if you cannot understand and read and write at all, obviously you're not going to be able to speak, and vice versa, you know. If you if you are very good at reading and writing, you would be able to say something, right? It's not as if you won't be able to say anything at all. So there is obviously a relationship between those aspects of the English language. But the whole point is that, the bottom line basically is that you develop specific aspects of the English language, and you are what you do. If you are an English reader and that's all you do, you become fluent at reading, right? If you speak a lot and practice your spoken English, then you become a very good speaker. You become a fluent speaker, you know. If you write a lot and spend a lot of time writing, then you become a very, very good English writer. You know, those are the different, distinct aspects of the English language. So, hopefully this video is gonna clear up for you, my friend. And yeah, basically on the finishing note, let me tell you that the fear of making mistakes is not the reason you are unable to speak fluently. It's a manifestation of the fluency issue, if you will. You know, it's one of the symptoms. But the true reason is you haven't been practicing your spoken English. If there's enough practice behind you, okay, no fear will stand in the way of your success. Yes, it will hamper your performance somewhat, but provided that you've been doing a lot of practicing and preparing for a specific event, for example, no amount of fear is gonna render your spoken English facilities totally unusable, so to speak, you know? So, thanks for watching, my friends, and chat to you soon again. Bye-bye.